Magandang umaga na naman muli. Welcome sa ating lesson in Math 6. Ako si Teacher Lovina at ang ating lesson sa araw na ito ay division of decimals. Paano mag-divide ng numbers na nasa decimals or numbers in decimal forms. So, at the end of the lesson, you're expected to divide whole numbers by decimals up to decimal places and vice versa. Dividing the decimals by whole numbers. We use the following method when we divide a decimal quantity by a whole number. To divide a decimal by a whole number, una, place the decimal point in the quotient directly above the decimal point in the dividend. Pangalawa, divide as in whole numbers. Pangatlo, insert zeros to the dividend when needed. Para mas maunawaan, tingnan natin ang example na ito. Divide 34.75 by 5. So first step, place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend. Isusulat mo in a long method para mas ma-solve ang example na ito. 34.75 is our dividend. 5 is our divisor. So the first step, ilagay ang decimal point sa ibabaw mismo kung saan ang decimal point ng dividend. Ayan. Next, divide as in whole numbers. So parang mag-divide ka lang na tulad ng whole number. So, let's see. 34 divided by 5. Since first digit cannot divide 5, we use the other digit. So 34 divided by 5 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. The next step is we subtract this. 34 minus 30, 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. So we have 4, bring down 7. We already have 47. 47 divided by 5 is 9. 9 times 5 is 45. Then subtract. 47 minus 45 is 2. Bring down, there's another digit left, 5. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Then subtract until you get to 0. So the answer for this number, example, 34.75 divided by 5 is 6.95. Madali lang, di ba? Para ka lang nag-divide ng whole number. Yung pagkakaiba niya lang, meron siyang decimal point. So, paano malalaman saan ilalagay decimal point? Kahanay siya ng decimal point sa dividend. This is the dividend. This is the divisor. First step, ilagay ang decimal point at mag-divide na parang mag-divide ka ng whole number. Alright, let's go to our next. Dividing decimals by decimals. Paano naman kung parehas decimals ang dinidivide mo? Decimal ang dividend at decimal ang divisor. So to divide the decimal by another decimal, change the divisor to a whole number by moving the decimal point to the rightmost place. Pangalawa, move the decimal point in the dividend to as many possible as the decimal point in the divisor is moved. Divide like whole numbers. Para mas maunawaan, ito ang ating halimbawa. Kung parehas decimal ang iyong dividend at ang iyong divisor, divide 23.8 divided by 0.7. So merong decimal point, merong decimal point. How do we do this? We will use the long method pa rin. Una, change the divisor to a whole number by moving the decimal point to the rightmost place. Ito ang divisor. Lilipat natin ito papuntang right hanggang maging whole number siya. So magiging 7 siya. Okay, this is our problem, right? 23.8 divided by 0.7. So move one decimal place to the right. Since isa lang, para mag-whole number na siya, mapunta siya sa dulo, isa lang i-move mo. So, lilipat ito dito. Okay? Nandyan na siya. Tatanggalin mo na to. Unang decimal, lilipat na siya dito. Dahil nag-move ka ng 1 decimal place to the right, ganun din ang gagawin mo kay dividend. To the right also. So, the final problem becomes divide us in whole numbers. Magiging ganito ang itsura niya. Okay? Kasi nalipat na natin yung decimal point to the rightmost. Paano malalaman kung ilan ang lilipatan? Depende kung ilang decimal place meron ang divisor. Ganon din ang bilang ng ija-jump mong number to the rightmost. If you have moved 1 decimal place in the divisor, you will also need to move 1 decimal place of the dividend. Okay? Kung tatlo din ditong ililipat mo. Paano kung wala ng number dyan? Dagdag ka lang ng 0 sa i-move mo. Okay, let's solve this as if we're solving and dividing whole numbers. So our new set is 238 divided by 7. So divide as whole number. 23 divided by 7 equals 21. 23 divided by 7 equals 3. 3 times 7 equals 21. So subtract. 23 minus 21 is 2. There's another digit left. Bring down that number, which is 8. It becomes 28. 28 divided by 7 is 4. 4 times 7 equals 28. So, subtract 0. So the final answer to this problem, 23.8 divided by 0.7 is 34. Diba madali lang? That's how we divide a whole number. That's how we divide decimals by another decimal. Okay, let's go to another example. 281.25 divided by 2.25. So, same step. Change the divisor to a whole number by moving the decimal point to the rightmost place. Itong una mong gagalawin, si divisor. Okay? This one is the divisor. How many places are there to go to the rightmost place? You have to move 2, right? So let's move 2. Okay? 1, 2. Dalawa. So dito, dahil dalawa ang na-move mo, ilan din dito mula sa decimal point? Dalawa rin. Okay? Malilipat na siya. Ang decimal point, malilipat na siya dito. Pag sinabing move, ililipat mo lang. So pag nalipat mo siya, you already have your new set of numbers. So divide like whole number. Dahil nawala na yung decimal point dito, nandito na siya. Pag nasa dulo na siya, think of it as, wala na. Kasi whole number na siya. Whole number na ang nandito. Same thing with the divisor. It becomes 225. So let's divide it like whole numbers. 281 divided by 225, 1. 1 times 225 equals 225. Let's subtract. 281 minus 205 is 6. Because this becomes 11. We borrowed 1 from 8. 11 minus 5 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. Bring down another digit. There's 2. 562 divided by 225 is 2. 2 times 225 is 450. Subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 6 minus 5 is 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. You have 112. There's another digit left. Bring that down, which is 5. So your new number is 1,225 divided by 225. How much would that be? That will be 5. 5 times 225 is 1,125. This is 25. 10, 12, tama. Okay, let's subtract. 0. So the final answer to this problem, example number 2, dividing decimals by another decimals is 125. Okay, how about if we divide decimals by the powers of 10? Rather than doing the long method, it is a great help if we can learn a faster way of dividing decimals by powers of 10. Instead na gawin natin yung ginagawa natin nun, kapag ang decimals mo ay nasa power of 10, just use the short method. Okay, look at this example. 5.29 divided by 10. The answer is 0.529. What did we do? We moved the decimal point one decimal place to the left. From here, we move it to the left. Kapag ang divisor mo is whole number, ang movement ng decimal point mo is papuntang kaliwa, left. How do we know kung ilang decimal place ang i-move? Tingnan mo kung ilan ang zero ng divisor mo. In the number 10, there's 1 0. If there's 1 0, isa lang ang movement mo papuntang kaliwa. So decimal point goes to the left. So the final answer is 0.529. Di ba madali lang? No need to do the long method. Okay. You just move it that way. Okay. This one, move the decimal point 2 decimal place to the left. Since this is still a whole number, which is 100, ilan ang zero nito? Dalawa. So, ang movement mo, papuntang kaliwa. Diba? Kapag whole number, papuntang kaliwa ang movement ng decimal point. So, ilan ang zero? Dalawa. So, dalawa rin ang decimal place na i-move mo. 1, 2. Paano yan? Wala. Lalagyan mo ng zero pag bakante. Okay? Kaya ang sagot, 0.0529. We have moved 2 places since the divisor has 2 zeros. Okay. Yan lang ang tatandaan. Kapag ang divisor whole number, ang movement ay puntang kaliwa. Okay? How about this one? The divisor is 1,000. 5.29 divided by 1,000. Move the decimal point 3 places. 3 decimal place to the left. Bakit 3? Kasi ang zero ng 1,000 is 3. So, ang movement, pakaliwa, 3 rin ang gagalaw, ang i-move mo. 3 places din ang galaw ng decimal point. Okay, 1, 1, 2, 3. Bakante yan dito. Pero instead na bakante ilalagay mo, lagyan mo ng 0. Lagyan mo na siya ng value. Since it's blank, it means it's 0. So you just put blank sa movement mo at dun mo ilagay ang decimal point. So the final answer is 0.00529. Okay? How about if our divisor is a decimal number? Decimal number siya, hindi siya whole number. So pag ito ang movement ay pakaliwa, dito naman ang movement ng decimal point mo papuntang kanan. Okay? Look. Move the decimal point 1 decimal place to the right. So, from the given number, our dividend is 5.29. Saan ang direksyon? Papuntang kanan. So, ang decimal point mo, mag-move papuntang kanan. Ilan? Isa. Kasi isa lang ang 0. No. Isang number lang ang nandito sa decimal point, not the 0. Isang decimal number lang nakikita mo. Okay? Kaya, isang galaw lang din ang movement mo papuntang kanan. So, the final answer here is from 5.29, move the decimal point 1 to the right. So, the final answer is 52.9. Lipat mo yung decimal point to the right. How about this one? 5.29 divided by 0.01. Okay, this is a decimal number. Again, if we are moving, kapag nagsusolve ka, nagdi-divide ng decimal number na nasa powers by 10, at ito, tingnan mo ang digit. Ilan ang decimal numbers dyan? 2. So, 2 rin ang movement ng decimal point papuntang kanan. Move the decimal point 2 decimal place to the right. So, 5.29 papuntang kanan, 1, 2. Kaya ang sagot is 529. Nalipat mo na si decimal point sa pinakadulo. Pag nasa dulo siya, Sa kanan, disregard the point. You don't have to copy it. Okay? Now, let's have this one. 5.29 divided by 0.001. Ito'y parang equivalence pero the negative part of this whole number. Okay? Tingnan natin. Nasa decimal places siya ng 0.001. Ilan ang digits na nandyan? 3. So, 3 rin ang galaw ng decimal point mo. Papuntang kanan. 5.29. You move the decimal places, decimal points, ilang place? 3 because there are 3 digits in this decimal number. 3 decimal places. So, let's move 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yung bakante, simula dyan, ganyan yan. 1, 2, 3. Yung bakante dyan, lalagyan mo ng 0. Okay. At dun mo ilagay yung decimal point. Na-move mo siya. I hope na naunawaan natin ang example na to. Okay, let's try this one. Divide 3.0745 divided by 100. So we are dividing this decimal number by a whole number. So ano yung step natin? Is it going to the left or going to the right? Okay, it's going to the left since we are dividing, since our divisor is a whole number. So how many places should we move? How many places? 2. Bakit? Kasi dalawang 0 ng 100, di ba? So, the answer here, going to the left, you move 2 places, going to the left, 1, 2. Yung bakante na yan, lagyan mo ng 0 at ilagay mo dun yung decimal point. So, the final answer here is 0.030745. Remember, when dividing decimals by 10, 100, or 1,000, move the decimal point in the dividend to the left based on the number of zeros in the power of 10. So ito yung sinasabi ko. Depende sa bilang ng 0 na nasa power of 10. Sample number 2. Ito naman tayo. Decimal places, decimal numbers naman ang ating divisor. 1.8942 divided by 0.001. So what's our rule? If it's a decimal number, the movement of the decimal point is going to the right. At paano ang bilangan? Bibilangin mo kung ilang numbers ang nandyan sa decimal places na yan, decimal numbers. 1, 2, 3. So 3 ang movement nito. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if our answers are correct. Good. So the decimal number or the decimal point moves to the left and it becomes 1,894.2. 3 ang ginalaw niya. 3 ang kanyang ginamp. Kasi 3 ang number natin sa decimal number. Remember, when dividing decimals by 0.1, 0.01, or 0.001, move the decimal point in the dividend to the right based on the number of zeros in the power of 10. So I hope na naunawaan natin yon. You can try this in your sample notebook. I hope that you understood how to divide the decimal numbers with the whole number, or dividing decimal numbers with another decimal numbers, and dividing decimal numbers by the power of 10. I hope to see you in our next video. If you like this video, please click nyo po yung like at subscribe na rin po kayo. If you want to be updated sa mga susunod pa nating video, paki-click din po ang ating bell button. Maraming salamat at God bless us all.